Just when you thought you could count out the baby-faced assassin, Steph Curry defied all the odds once again.
The young Spurs tighten up. Shots that were falling for them aren't falling anymore. Curry for the lead. He got it!
And in this crazy game versus Victor Wembanyama and the rising San Antonio Spurs, Steph Curry would wind back the clock to save the Dubs with a historic 46-point performance. And coming into this a very intriguing Wednesday matchup between the young and the old, this game was simply must-win for the Warriors, as prior to this game, the Warriors had lost 5 out of their last 7 games, including a truly embarrassing blowout loss to the reigning champs, the OKC Thunder, 24 hours prior. In this game versus the Thunder, it was set to be one where the Dubs could truly prove themselves to the rest of the league after the return of Steph Curry following a 3-game absence, but simply in this one, Golden State would be heavily exposed on both sides of the ball, including Steph, who would only drop 11 points on return on 4 of 13 shooting from the field, and he would also rack up 5 personal fouls, including the first flagrant of his career. But following this embarrassing loss, Steph wouldn't shy away from the spotlight.
And they took it to us in the first half, and we didn't really have any answers, so don't get discouraged, don't get down.
You plan to play? You plan to play tomorrow?
Huh?
You plan to play tomorrow?
I'm trying to, yes.
But this game would also prove to be a tough task for the aging Warriors, as they were coming up against a young, fearless Spurs team who had nothing to lose in this one. They were sitting with an 8-2 record, and up until this game, they were undefeated at home. And unfortunately for the Warriors, early on, they would carry the form from the previous OKC game into this one, as the team would shoot a horrendous 5 of 22 from the field in the first term. But Steph would have a nice highlight over the former Warrior Harrison Barnes, and he would also climb to 23rd all-time in total points. And the second quarter wouldn't be any better for the road Dubs, as the greatest 3-point shooter of all time could not drain a shot from beyond the arc. Steph's shot looked flat, it was barely making the distance, so he would have to rely on his incredibly underrated inside game.
Center depth of San Antonio. Curry! He bumped into Cornette, he heard the whistle, he flipped it in.
And despite hitting some Kareem-like shots, it wouldn't be anywhere near enough for the Warriors, as Area 51, Wembanyama and Castle would lead the Spurs to an early 16-point lead in the second term. And if the Warriors wanted to steal it from here, they would have to have their largest comeback of this NBA season so far. But one thing we've learned, no task is too tall for the greatest point guard of all time, as in the third quarter, we would see vintage Steph Curry.
Curry into the front court. Steph angling, banking it home. He just wasn't taking no for an answer.
As the chef would have his tied 6th best quarter of his career, and he would also have his 43rd 20-plus point quarter of his career, as in this term he would drop a ridiculous 22 points on 5 of 7 shooting from the field in the term, including 3 triples, and he wouldn't have a single stat outside of points. It was just straight buckets from Steph Curry. It was that good of a quarter for Steph that he even looked to attack the 7'4" alien Victor Wembanyama on multiple plays in some David v Goliath moments.
And then Steph on a relocate. There it is. He drops in the 3. He puts his hands up in celebration. The movement without the ball. Wemby just forgot about it. It's like, oh yeah, you're the guy that has to go out there and chase him. He wants to stay at the basket.
And at the 5-minute mark of the third quarter, Steph Curry would cap off the Warriors' comeback, hitting a step-back 3 to actually put the Dubs up 74-73, giving the Warriors their first lead since early in the first quarter.
Shots that were falling for them aren't falling anymore. Curry for the lead. He got it! Steph's got 33. They've come from 16 down. I told you. He is the one.
And he would close out this video game-like quarter with a pair of mid-range shots off the glass. Steph, Moody, and Jimmy would close out the term for the Warriors, and Steph himself would put up 22 of the 43 points for the Warriors in the term, helping be a part of the massive avalanche that had the young Spurs shambling. And in a must-win game on the road, the Warriors found themselves up by 8 heading into the last 12 minutes. And Steph's confidence in this game would radiate communicate with the rest of the squad as everyone in the fourth quarter stepped up big time. There was plenty of big moments in this last quarter that helped close out the game. And fortunately enough, the Warriors wouldn't need too much more from Steph in the last. He would still make his impact, dropping another 9 points in the quarter. But Steph would ultimately end up having the highlight of the night in the fourth quarter. Off his own miss, Steph would then relocate in the corner, hitting the dagger 3 over Victor Wembanyama.
Over Wembanyama. How did Curry even see the rim? GP2 a third opportunity. Steph relocate. Got a 3! Gary did it again. Back-to-back 0-5 to the rebounds. I told you he can do work. Serious work. Relocate. Listen, Wembanyama thought his work was done. He had contested the one before. Oh, they got another rebound, and Steph is moving. He's open.
And the Warriors would hold on to win this one with a final score of 125-120 off the back of a brilliant Stephen Curry 46-point performance alongside his Robin, Jimmy Butler, who would also chip in with 28 points. And despite the loss, Victor Wembanyama continues to be in MVP conversations in this one. He would have an insane 31-point triple-double. And this performance helped put Steph Curry in many record books tonight. He is now the oldest point guard to have multiple 40-plus point performances in a season. He also now has the most 45-plus point games by a point guard. But most importantly, he now ties LeBron James for the most 45-plus point games after turning 35. Now, there's also plenty of other little records and stats I mentioned across the course of this video. And this game simply denied all of the washed allegations on Steph Curry's name. And to anyone out there who still thinks Magic Johnson is better than Steph Curry, let this game be a reminder to you. But thank you all for watching this video. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more Golden State Warriors content. And let me know if you want to see more of these recapping videos, and I'll see you all in the next one.